says, what your baby mom think, what your boyfriend think, what the guy who wasn't really your man but you call your man thinks, what your best friend said, oh, I can't really make it. Or yo, if people are giving you too much ifs, ands, or buts, just book the trip. You got your money, book your trip. You don't need to wait on nobody. You don't gotta all that. Like, be your own person, have your own fun. The best part about solo trips is that you do what you want to do when you want to do it. What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Yo-Yo, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about traveling solo, okay? Because the last video I uploaded, people was telling me like, hey, like, it's inspiring me to travel alone. Like, so there's a lot of perks and downsides to traveling solo, and I'm gonna just talk about my own experience and, you know, give y'all some tips on how to travel on your own. I've always wanted to travel by myself. It is something a little bit scary, especially as a woman. Like, I know that it is a little bit more like, ooh, but it could still be really fun and fulfilling. When you plan a trip with a group, it's a lot of, oh, let me think about it, I gotta think about it, and or somebody doesn't have the money, or somebody's not 100% sure, and there's like a lot of doubt, or they don't want to do the same activities as you, and it can make the trip very like exhausting, even like, especially if you're the one that has to always plan these trips. I did my first solo trip like a month or two back. I went to Cancun. I just posted the vlog recently just because I haven't really had that much time to like edit and do all of that stuff, but I uploaded the video and you guys can see like it didn't go exactly according to plan, but I was still able to have fun, enjoy my time, and it was a vibe. It was a vibe. Okay, so the first thing when traveling on your own is to plan ahead of time. So there's not that much space for thinking and making decisions and having to figure out what to do next. You know, you can use that time to actually enjoy yourself. And I guess this goes for any type of travel, group travel or solo travel, but I feel like it is more important when you do a solo trip because there are gonna be things that come up, and if you're not prepared, it could be stressful. You want to avoid as much as you can. My biggest mistake on this trip, especially because it was so quick, it was like 48-hour trip, was planning transportation. So I kind of thought I could just figure it out when I get there. You know, here we just Uber everywhere. When I'm in DR, I just Uber everywhere and I know how to get around. However, I didn't account for the fact that Mexico is a whole new country. Duh. And things don't work the same way. So when I was trying to get to the resort, these companies were charging me an arm and a leg just to get to that resort, because yes, it was a little bit far, but I knew that they were overcharging OD. I was like, bro, they was trying to charge me, like, they did end up charging me, because at the end of the day I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna spend half of my day trying to figure out how to get over there. I was gonna do the excursion when I got over there. I was like, I'm just gonna plan it as I go, you know, I'm gonna just, because I also did the trip very spontaneously, so I only did it with 2 weeks of events. Big mistake. Plan your excursion ahead of time. Plan your transportation. If there's shuttle included, make sure you do that as soon as you book, or a little bit right after you book, or if you have to pay for transportation, but make sure that that is all done ahead of time. If you have to schedule, you can schedule an Uber, but my mistake was I didn't do any of that. I think if you do that, it'll save you a lot of time and it'll save you money, because when you do something last minute, they're going to overcharge you. Don't leave space for your trip to be clouded with choices and last minute stuff going wrong, and it'll just make your whole trip smoother. And that, again, that goes for solo or group or bae travel. Another tip that I have is to always take out cash, either at the airport or just let it be one of the first things you do. Why? Because you're gonna want to tip people. You're gonna want to tip the locals, the people that work there. If you take transportation from the airport to the resort, you know, I had a really nice guy, but I didn't take out any cash at the airport, which I thought about it beforehand and I was like, I should have done it, but I didn't. A tip that I heard from some of my colleagues is tip out the cleaning lady ahead of time, not on the last day, but the first day. They'll give you extra towels, extra soap, extra, you know, they'll just be more attentive because you gave them that little bit of recognition beforehand. I heard the same thing for, again, this is all stuff that I learned based off my mistakes, and that's where you learn the most from. So I didn't take out cash at the airport ahead of time, and you know, my taxi driver was like the sweetest guy. I told him about everything that happened with me missing my flight because of the snow. Like, it wasn't even my fault, and I didn't really have a chance to even go on an excursion because I'm gonna just enjoy the rest of my stay at the resort, you know, to get some juice out of it because I already missed the whole day. And he ended up taking me locally so I can see more of Mexico. So that in and of itself was like a tour, you know. And he was telling me, oh, these were some Mayan ruins, like not the really famous ones, but these were Mayan ruins. This is this part, this is the city, you know. He didn't have to do any of that, he really didn't, but it was so nice. It made my trip feel so much more indulging. I was able to see the culture, the people, the real life, not just the resort life, obviously. And if I had the cash, I would have given him a nice tip, but I didn't because I didn't have it. Tip out your bartender before, not after as well. That way you get really good service, the drinks keep on coming, especially at a resort where it's all inclusive. Like, you know, you tip them a good $10-20 bill at the beginning and the drinks are just gonna keep pouring. They're just gonna keep coming. They're gonna treat you like a fucking king. All right, so remember that. Always take out cash as soon as you can, either at the airport or have your taxi or shuttle driver, whatever, take you to a local spot that does do money exchange. Another tip that I have, you guys are gonna see it on my next video if you watch it, of course. It's when I went to Canada and I had a 8-hour layover, so I left my bags at the airport. If you didn't know you could do this, you could do this. So if you have a long layover, I would say maybe longer than 4 or 5 hours, and you want to go out and explore whatever city you're in, then that is something you should try. So they'll literally, I dropped off my carry-on bag and my personal items, so my big book bag, I dropped both of those off, and then I stayed with like a smaller book bag that I just put, you know, my wallet, my ID, my money, you know, the essentials, my vlogging camera, you know. It was like a small little fanny pack with everything, my essentials and my coat. I paid like $35 in total for both of them. I think they have like 24-hour packages depending on the airport. I was able to drop off my bags. I went out into the city. I took public transportation. I asked the lady right there about how do I get into the city, and she told me, oh, you could take this bus, and I paid $3. And baby, I traveled all night long on public transport. I was just taking buses and trains everywhere. Okay, so I took a bus that leaves from the airport to the city, and from there I just started walking around exploring. Bro, I traveled to a whole nother country, and I was able to explore the downtown. I was able to go eat somewhere and really feel the culture and stuff like that. It was so nice. Like, I literally felt like I was like in a whole other place. Like, I was in Canada. Like, I went from the US to Mexico to Canada. Like, it was 3 completely different vibes, and it was so like culturally filling. Even though I didn't really see any people in Canada, like barely any people, because it was like late at night and it was cold as fuck. So it was still very nice, and I didn't have to carry on all of this luggage with me, what, for like $30-something. They just took that burden away from me. It was lit, it was the vibe. Public transportation definitely is a way to go if you really want to immerse yourself into the culture, into the livelihood of that city. You get more than just a resort vibe, which is very fake, or a safari tour, which again is very like extra typical and very, what's the word, very stereotypical. If you haven't noticed, like a lot of safari tours are just very stereotypical to the country that you're in, and it's like, oh, when you think of Mexico, you think of the Mayan ruins, you know what I'm saying? So when you take public transportation, you can actually see the people, the culture, and all of that. This is how they actually live, this is what they do, like this is what it feels like to be in this country, you know? And not to take away the fact that public transportation is very inexpensive. For $3 I got like a all-day pass. Was it $3? It might have been more than $3, maybe $10. For that amount of money, that wouldn't have even been an Uber to the city, and I was able to travel all around. You know, Google Maps is your best friend. It'll literally tell you how to go from A to B to C to D to so yeah, always carry with you a battery, a power bank, you know, that way, that's the only way. Like my phone was actually dying. I actually forgot my battery. I had bought a battery for this point, for this is the moment. I forgot it in my carry-on bag, but I asked the lady at the restaurant if she could charge my phone for me. It's still nice enough. She charged the phone for me while I ate dinner, and it was really nice. But always remember to bring a battery pack. That way you can charge your devices and never lose communication. You won't lose your maps, you won't lose, you know, like your phone is so important, especially when you're traveling alone, because you can only rely on you and that phone. Okay, like when you're in a group, somebody else will have a phone, somebody else can get an Uber, somebody else can figure it out. But if your phone is not alive, baby, I'm sorry to tell you, it's gonna be hard for you to stay alive too. And talking about security, it is very important. This is obviously, you don't have to do it, well, you don't have to do anything that I talk about, but this one is a personal choice. But turn your location on. It's not gonna save you in a time of, you know, shit just got real, but at least they'll know or have an idea of where you're at least they'll be able to track you, they'll be able to stay in touch with you. If all goes the absolute worst that we could think of, at least they'll know the last place that you were seen at, right? Sorry to talk about something so dark, but we do have to think that things can happen. I think when you take a solo trip, you have to be already very aware of yourself, of your surroundings. You have to be extra cautious, and you have to not trust everyone. You have to be very aware, very 2 steps ahead. Be able to prove, is this company legit? For example, a taxi service. Or is it some random person in the street offering me a ride? Always believe your intuition. Always pray about it. Like, is this the right move that I'm making? Because that can be a life or death situation when you put your trust into the wrong person. Always cover your drinks. I know they sell these little drink covers on Amazon or on TikTok or whatever. Buy something like that so nobody can sprinkle anything in your drink. I did a very big mistake of taking drinks from people, but it was like we were all drinking and we were all doing like rounds of shots together. Don't be like me, because that shit could have went really bad really quick. Okay, don't do that, especially because people see a woman alone and they're gonna want to take advantage of you, especially if you look good. And even if you don't look good, like, they'll just try to take advantage of the fact that you are a woman and you are more impressionable. Or they can try to put something in your drink to make you more impressionable, you know what I mean? Always meet in public areas. Even if you say, oh, we're gonna link up later, always link up in a public place, at the restaurant, at the hotel bar, or at the I don't know, just a public place. Never be like, oh yeah, I'll meet you, what's your room number, I'll meet you at your room. No, don't do some shit like that. That's dumb. Meet them at a public spot, the lobby, the bar, something where other people are around. Never let somebody know what room you stay at, because somebody else could have been overhearing, or even them, they could have bad intentions. There's like these safety door stoppers that you can get on Amazon, TikTok, Walmart, whatever. Try to get something like that so that your room door is always secure. Let's say you're running away from somebody dangerous, you can at least put a door stopper so they can't get into your room, and then you can, you know, call 911 to find a way to get out of that situation. Always be on the safe side. Always have emergency contact numbers. Is it 911 in this country? how do I get out of here safe? Be aware of your fire exits, be aware of your emergency contact numbers, your personal emergency contact numbers. Have it written down somewhere so that if anything were to happen, they can reach you. And I think the last one is that the hotel area is always going to be safer than going on excursions alone. You can definitely do excursions by yourself, but be careful. Make sure that the excursions that you do are trustworthy. I wouldn't suggest doing a solo safari or excursion off of something I found on Facebook or on Instagram or even on Groupon. Like, if you're gonna do something like that, let it be with a group of people, or do it with the hotel. You know, the hotel will have connections to these safaris and excursions. Do it with them because it's gonna be way more trustworthy. They have to get you back to the hotel safe. And you know, if something happens to you, like, everyone knows that you left with the hotel. Okay, if you leave with a private tour company, they're not gonna know who these people even are. There's no contact, there's no point of anything. The point of this video is fuck what everybody says. Fuck what your baby mom think, what your boyfriend think, what the guy who wasn't really your man but you call your man thinks. Fuck what your best friend said. Oh, I can't really make it. Or yo, if people are giving you too much ifs, ands, or buts, just book the trip. You got your money, book your trip. You don't need to wait on nobody. You don't gotta, fuck all that. Like, be your own person, have your own fun. The best part about solo trips is that you do what you want to do when you want to do it. If I feel like waking up at 5 and getting drunk, ain't nobody gonna judge me. If I feel like going to a nightclub, it's no discussion of, no, but I want to do this, no, but I want to do that, oh, but I want to go to this restaurant, or like, I want to go to this restaurant, but you want to go to the beach. Like, there's no compromise. It's whatever you want to do. Yes, there's a downside to, like, you might get a little bit bored, but you can meet other people. Like, there's always gonna be, you know. And I will say, traveling alone is not for everybody. It's not for the weak-hearted, but it is very fun. I get to do whatever I want. It makes me feel more fulfilled because I know that I did everything that I wanted to do with my time and I didn't have to rely on nobody. My expectations weren't broken because there wasn't something I wanted to do but I couldn't do because I was relying on other people, and there was no arguments with other people. It was just me, myself, and I. And it's all about your mindset, which is something that I talk a lot on this channel. Always work on your mindset, how you view things, how you perceive things. Never let the bad moments affect you in that way where it's like, now I can't enjoy the rest of my trip. Make sure you go in there with a good attitude, and if you're in a bad attitude, switch up your mental, because you're gonna waste your trip being upset about something little. Think about the now instead of what happened before. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you that extra push to click book and not wait on nobody. Stay tuned for the Canada vlog. There's gonna be more vlogs coming up. I'm sorry, this channel is moving a little bit slow. I have a lot going on, okay? I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Bye. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.